guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to talk about everything that we watched in the month of June. So this is going to be a new series on the channel.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot more like doable for us. We talked about still doing like any big, theater movies separately, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll still do reviews, here and there, especially if it's something that we want to I guess go into more in depth.
Yeah.
Something that deserves it.
Yeah, but we watch so many movies that we don't do reviews for. And we would still like to talk about them. So I think this is just like a good, easy way to do that.
Yeah, sometimes when we're done watching a movie, we're like, should we do a review for that? And we're just like, I don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
Not that we don't have some things to say about some of these movies, because I feel like we do.
Yeah.
But sometimes that happens.
Yeah, so. I think that there's like a difference in, between having one full video dedicated to a movie versus just having like a few sentences to say about a movie, that can sum it up pretty good. So, but anyway, before we get into it,
hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We would appreciate that, and also
like the video.
Like the video, like she said. And then, feel free in the comment section below if you checked out some notable films in the month of June or just some movies that you really enjoyed, or hell, everything you watched. Comment down below. Let us know what you've been watching as well. We're letting you know what we're watching. Let us know what you've been watching.
Yeah, or maybe we'll mention a movie that you didn't know about and you'll go check it out.
Yeah, we're going to try to let you guys know where it's streaming, where it's available to watch and stuff as we go through it. But let's go ahead and start with the first movie. It's a film called The Passenger.
Yeah, you wanted to watch this one.
Yeah, this is a movie that's on Hulu right now.
And I'll say Hulu came through this month for us.
Hulu, I'm looking at this list. I'm like, damn, we watched everything on Hulu this month. But this has Kyle Gallner in it, who was also in Strange Darling last year.
Yeah.
I cannot, who was the boy in it? I can't visualize, was he like an unknown?
I think he was in the Netflix series 13 Reasons Why, but you didn't watch that, so...
Okay.
I think that's what he's from.
When it comes to this film, this was at the beginning of the month,
and
that feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
I can barely remember everything that happened in the movie. All I remember is there's something really wild that happens in the first 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
In the restaurant or diner, fast food place, whatever you want to call it. After that, it kind of shifts, I feel like, tones, and ends up somewhere completely different. What did you think of this movie?
Yeah, this movie was interesting. I didn't really quite know what to expect with it. The beginning is pretty violent, pretty disturbing. But like you said, it kind of evolves into something else. I don't know. I would say I enjoyed it. It's not exactly like a feel-good movie or anything. So, I can't see myself ever watching it again, but I think it's good for a one-time watch. So
yeah, I mean, Kyle Gallner basically plays a legit psychopath.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to dive into what happens in the beginning, but then it turns into this he's helping this boy confront
kind
some
of
of the
stand up for himself.
Yeah, do that, but also confront his past.
Yeah.
By basically making things right with certain people in his life. So
yeah.
It was decent. I enjoyed it, but I do feel with how it started, maybe they should have just kept on with that tone, and maybe it could have been a really cool action horror film. But they chose a different place to go. So who am I to say what they should have done? Let's go into Mountainhead.
Mountainhead, yeah. This was
HBO
was on Max or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, this was on. Well, it's back to HBO Max.
HBO
they changed
Max.
it. It's back. We can say HBO Max again. So this had Steve Carell in it, and it had I can't think of anybody.
He's a comedian. I don't know his name though.
I know the guy that played Chevy Chase in Saturday Night was in it, but I don't know that actor's name. But there's the other guy that's in every single Wes Anderson film.
Oh yeah.
Jason Schwartzman is in the film as well, and then it's got somebody else that I recognize, but I just can't think of these names.
This was kind of a take on all the wealthy the wealthy men in America.
This was a commentary on, this big thing going on in America right now. Fight the oligarchy. The elites are the enemy. So it was definitely a commentary on that.
Yeah, it seemed to be that they were like referencing like, I don't know, Bill Gates and...
Oh yeah, it's like if Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos...
all the big like technology...
all got together for a weekend in this mountain home and just laughed about how the world was falling apart around them.
Yeah, this was definitely like a... what did they call it? Like this movie was not to be taken seriously. It was
definitely...
it
was a little satirical. That's what I would call it.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like
it was
satire.
A satire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say satire or satire?
You said satire. I would say satire.
I don't use that word all the time. But I just remember looking it up before we watched it, and it definitely like wasn't meant to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
It was... I didn't hate it.
Well, it's from the writers of Succession, right?
Yeah, which is why I wanted to watch it. Yeah.
And yeah, the dialogue is very like, will go over your head. If you're not
it's a very dialogue driven.
It's very dense dialogue.
Yeah, just like Succession, very dialogue driven. But I don't know. I didn't hate it.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was on board with like the direction that it went in.
Yeah.
I don't know what I wanted it to do, but I just wasn't expecting like some of the things that transpired in the third act of the movie.
It kind of just, talked about how they would literally do anything to be the best.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to say too.
Even turning on each other and... yeah, it was interesting.
It was relatively entertaining. I can recommend watching it if you have HBO Max.
Yeah,
it's on there for free. This was a Max exclusive, I think. It wasn't in the theaters or anything like that.
No.
All right, so that's Mountain Head. Then we watched Titan, the Ocean Gate Disaster.
Yep, this is on Netflix.
You really wanted to check this one out.
Yeah, I really enjoy like documentaries. And Netflix, they kill it for the documentaries.
They do.
Yeah, they definitely do. The Ocean Gate stuff. I remember when it happened, I was just like very like enthralled following it. At first
it's pretty wild.
Yeah, at first they thought that maybe they could rescue them, and then it was like the countdown of running out of oxygen, and then you find out it imploded and they all died. And so anyway, this documentary, it really goes into the creator of Ocean Gate, and I can't think of his name.
I can't think of his name either, but he died in it with them. So but he's in a lot of this documentary, so they must have been able to get like, I guess, the footage of him and were able to use it somehow.
Yeah, so it just really goes into like the creation of this like submarine that they made, and how there were just so many people telling him that it wasn't a good idea, and he just did it anyway. It goes
into the company itself a lot, the problems.
People that like worked for him but ended up leaving or getting fired, and
it was wild to me just how like, I guess, big of a company it was, because they kept going through like the hierarchy, like branches and everything. They had an HR department. I was like, I didn't realize they were that like legit of a company.
In the grand scheme of things, it was still a small company, but
it
was a very like tight knit, kind of exclusive, like kind of, I don't know, I feel like a little under the radar. I don't know, like they were definitely trying to get out there, and they talk about how they were trying to
trying to maintain like a good public face, but then behind the scenes they were doing some shady stuff.
Yeah, like his goal with it was to basically be able to have people that could afford it go see Titanic.
Yeah.
And so it was very interesting. I would recommend checking it out if you like documentaries. And
and I can't get over that. I just think it added like an extra layer to have the guy that died in it like being so much of it. Like it's just really strange to watch it and be like, this guy is dead. Yeah. But he's like front and center in this documentary. I don't feel like you see that a lot.
Well, just to be clear though, they didn't have like, they weren't interviewing him.
No, it wasn't an interview. Like they were interviewing a bunch of other people, but like he is really in a lot of it. Though.
It was like the behind the scenes, of when they were building the submarine and going on the excursions and stuff. So
Yeah. It was interesting, I guess, informative for sure. Then we watched Freaky Tales. These are the tales, the freaky tales. You remember that?
This one was interesting.
Pedro Pascal,
We watched
and
this.
some other people.
We watched this. You had the physical copy.
Yeah.
I do think it is on something though. It probably is on Hulu.
It could be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Lionsgate. Maybe
Okay.
not.
Okay.
I do think it's on streaming. I mean, I think you can rent it for like $9.99 or something.
I thought it was free, but
For me, this was okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
it definitely was trying to go for this like eclectic style. It was trying to be different, but it still to me felt like it was copying a lot of different movies. It was like it was taking just like inspiration from a bunch of different movies and
the last, because it's like an anthology. And I was thinking it was a horror anthology, not really a horror anthology. I don't even know exactly what you would call this. A supernatural, like mystical, magic-filled anthology.
It just had this like
in this urban setting.
Retro vibe going on, and then there's like this element of like green.
There's like some kind of green substance taking over Oakland, California.
There's like green light. I don't know, just like neon.
I don't even feel like they fully understood like what they were setting up, because there was really no payoff to that. I don't feel like.
I mean, I just kind of took it as something was making this day weird. Yeah,
I will say there's a very interesting cameo in this film from an extremely famous actor.
Yeah.
That might even be worth watching this just for that.
You think?
Yeah, because it was just kind of just so out of left field. I would never spoil it, but it was like, really, this guy is in this movie? It didn't make any sense. It was also from the directors of Captain Marvel. So I think that's interesting to point out. But Freaky Tales, it was fine. I honestly can't recommend. Wait till it comes to streaming for free, and then check it out if you're interested. Then we watched Presents on Hulu.
Yeah, this was one that I honestly could probably do a whole video on.
I feel like we should have.
This movie, obviously, we're a little late to watching it. We never made it to the theater. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people kind of talked negatively about it. They were kind of expecting, I think, like this haunted house movie.
But that's also a video in itself as well, I feel like, because this is not a movie. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much in the theater. I don't know. Do you feel like you would?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe there would be that extra level of immersion, but I just don't. I feel like people, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go to the theater, and then you see this like really weird, artistic, auteur-driven, like, haunted house type movie, slow movie,
burn, yeah.
And maybe you're like, oh, this is not what I wanted. I wanted more like a Paranormal Activity or something to enjoy in the theater. Yeah. But like watching it at home and just removing all those expectations, I feel like you could enjoy this movie a lot more.
Yeah.
Than seeing it in the theater.
Yeah, I was honestly, after hearing like the negative reaction to it, like I just heard it was boring and this and that, and so I still wanted to see it, but I think that I wasn't like super excited to watch it. But after watching it, like I honestly was kind of blown away by the end. There was just something about it. I just felt like it was very unique, and I enjoyed the story, and it's pretty heartbreaking, really. And I guess too, I just like related and like empathized because it's about a family, and it's like the same exact dynamic as us. It's got the older son with the younger daughter, and the mom and dad.
We're experiencing something now where it's like our kids are getting older.
Yeah.
And it's like if you got little kids and you don't get this just yet, but this is like as your kids get older, I don't know, I just felt like I related to the idea of your kids slipping away and being really quiet at the dinner table and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or like, there's really like, small, quiet, very intimate moments between like all the people in this little family group that I think they just pulled off perfectly in the movie.
Yeah, and I mean, the take on the camera angle, I don't want to like go into it too much and spoil it, but it was just done very
well, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that this is a haunted house movie and the camera is the perspective of the ghost that is watching this family.
Okay.
And basically haunting them. That was kind of set up in the
okay.
in the trailer.
Gotcha.
And I don't feel like that spoils anything. Like there's so much other
Layers
stuff in this
to it,
film, other layers to get into with this movie. But it was interesting, and I kind of really liked it as well.
Yeah.
The more I thought about it.
Yeah, and it gave me, it kind of reminded me of a ghost story.
Yeah, for sure. And I love a ghost story.
And that's another
mostly for the ending in that one too.
Yeah, that's another kind of just dark, heart-wrenching story. But yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. You don't own it, do you? Presents?
No, I didn't get it, but I will. Yeah. I will get it at some point.
Yeah.
It got a 4K and a Blu-ray. But yeah, just a really interesting movie directed by Steven Soderbergh, who's had a very interesting career. He directed the Ocean's 11 movies, Magic Mike, Unsane, which came. I didn't love Unsane, but that one I might need to rewatch at some point. But he's somebody that always tries to do like different types of things, and just keep pushing like the boundaries of filmmaking. And I feel like he kind of did it here.
Yeah,
this movie isn't getting enough credit, I don't think. I think more people should check it out. So.
Really enjoyed this one, and I just want to add quickly too, it kind of gave me Beetlejuice vibes a little bit.
A little bit, and I
like will, in the real world part, like
I do want to stress it's a haunted house movie, but it's not really a horror movie.
No,
it's really a family drama with supernatural elements. So you have to go into it with those expectations. You can't go into it thinking you're watching Paranormal Activity, like because that's not what it is.
Yeah, definitely recommend checking that one out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Skincare we watched with Elizabeth Banks.
Yep.
I don't know what to say about this one. It was okay. I didn't really like it though.
Yeah, it it was basically about Elizabeth Banks' character. She was like this well-known esthetician, and she was pretty successful. She was about to get kind of like her big break. She was like coming out with a skincare line, and basically it kind of follows like some unknown person. Well, she thinks she knows who it is, kind of sabotaging her career, and so you just kind of follow along as everything is falling apart for her. Yeah, it was a little underwhelming. I feel like it had potential, but it just didn't quite do it for me.
Yeah, it was just kind of this thriller, I guess.
Yeah.
Would you would call it genre bender of sorts, but yeah, it didn't work for me at all. I mean, we watched The Better Sister with Elizabeth Banks. And you wanted to watch this. I'm like, I think I'm tapped out on Elizabeth Banks for this month.
Yeah.
And we watched this, and it was more of the same, I felt like, with her and her performance. But
a little underwhelming.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. We watched Mr. Crockett on
this
Hulu
was your
as
idea.
well. I thought, I don't know, it was good for a little bit.
It started out good. I kind of dug the like style of it. It was kind of giving me like Five Nights at Freddy / Terrifier / I don't know. I was going for this kind of like
kind of Terrifier, because Terrifier gets into that like he's in the TV and then it's like an imaginary dream world. So I can see the Terrifier. Yeah, it
was just cool because it was mixing this like kid icon. Is that what you call it? Like kid icon. Like I don't know. It was kind of giving me like this creepy Mr. Rogers feel.
It was like Mr. Rogers meets Nightmare on Elm Street. Honestly, because he's like supposed to be like a Freddy Krueger type character. He's collecting these kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I just enjoyed. I thought that the like practical effects were cool. I know you said that they looked fake to you, or like it was like a haunted house type quality.
It did.
I don't know, but there was something about it. It was.
You could tell they were real though. Like I appreciated that, but it's just they looked fake.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was fake. I thought it was a fun take on it. But it just went downhill for me. I ended up like kind of walking around and doing some other stuff.
Yeah.
by the end
told
of
you
it.
The way they get into stuff quickly. Like
they do.
They reveal Mr. Crockett quickly.
There's not really much of a build up
There's no
to meeting
tension
him
in the movie. Like it's just he just comes out and does what he does. There's like no tension at all. There's no build up. I think that's kind of where the film falters a little bit. I think it could have benefited from about 20 minutes of pacing and build up before they revealed Mr. Crockett.
And because you're like with him so long, like it just made the movie also feel long. I know I complain about movies being too long a lot, but it just is
the
factor.
third act of the film felt like it was an hour and a half. Like it felt like it was its own movie. So yeah, I just think there was pacing issues. Cool character idea though. I liked the character of Mr. Crockett. I thought he was pretty freaky. I thought the guy that played him did a good job.
Yeah. I feel like it definitely had potential. It just didn't quite, get there.
But it was interesting. I heard some things about it, so I did want to check it out. We watched 28 Weeks Later on Hulu because I had never seen it. I'm not a big fan of days, so I never watched weeks. And I wanted to go.
Neither one of us had seen it.
Yeah, neither one of us had seen it. I wanted to go see Years in the theaters, which I did. I may talk about it at some point on my channel, but we watched 28 Weeks Later together. What did you think of it?
Yeah, originally I thought we were going to go see the new one together.
Yeah. But
then he got invited to go see it with my brother, and so I was like, go ahead. But yeah, this movie, it was okay. I didn't love it. I just couldn't really get on board with like the camera angles and stuff. Yep. It's kind of like chaotic, and as far as like showing the zombies and stuff, it's like it's just so chaotic and messy that you almost don't get like a real good look at everything.
I think that's just Danny
of like
Boyle's style. Yeah. I feel like he does that in 127 Hours too with James Franco.
Oh, okay. I'm just not a fan of that style. I hate like the chaotic, messy. It makes me like dizzy and anxious, and like luckily I didn't feel that way really when I was watching it this time. I feel like it got
better. I feel like it started that way and then it kind of got better as it went.
Yeah.
When it comes to like that, but like comparing this to the first one, I think it's miles better than the first one. I just don't like days. I don't like the setup in the house with the army guys. I just think it's incredibly boring and doesn't go anywhere after like 15 minutes. But this one has a lot of the same like, because I don't love like the camera angle stuff either. It's a lot of the same problems as the first one, but I just like the story better and I like the characters better in this one. I thought the opening in this one was incredible.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I loved the opening of it. So yeah, all these movies I'm kind of lukewarm on. After seeing Years, I liked Years for what it was, but I'm still just kind of lukewarm on the franchise as a whole.
Yeah.
But this one's probably my favorite of the three. I will say that.
Okay.
And then that's it.
That's it.
The only other one we have to talk about is Megan 2.0, and we should have already had a review out for that.
Yeah.
On the channel.
So go check out that review.
Go check out that review. This can be our opportunity to promote that review. But that's everything we watched.
I feel like, we also watched some shows and stuff, but we're not talking about those. So I feel like overall for us personally, this was, pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. Maybe we can aim for more next time.
And you still watch... We both separately watch a lot of stuff too, like on our own. So.
Yeah, you watch a lot of shows because you work from home on your phone, and I watch my fair share of stuff on physical media. So, but we're only talking about the stuff we watch together.
That's right.
Because that's what this channel is. But we appreciate you guys watching. Again, leave us your list of what you watched in June in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.